I'm Matthew Alvarez here in Las Vegas for the Reawaken 2023 conference. Joining us now, a patriot, a rock star for the conservative movement, Steve Stern with Precinct Strategy, and of course owns a great company there in Florida with awesome gear for the United States of America. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve. And what's on your radar right now for the country?
So I'm glad to be here, and a great thing just happened. I went out and saw General Flynn's assistant, and we were talking. I said, you know, I have a great idea. I just met a guy here from Clark County, and he's got a little booth out here, and you know, we're looking for ways to get people involved in the Republican Party. And I said, why didn't we all think of this before? At every event where we have thousands of people, we need to have tables set up so the Republicans sign up people. So I stood there for about 15 minutes and interviewed the people that were coming up there to find out why they're getting involved. Well, this is what we do. We do precinctstrategy.com, and we're going to give you a little book that Dan Schultz wrote. And if you go to www.precinctstrategy.com, you can find out how to get involved in the Republican Party. Now, there's 400,000 slots. There's 200,000 people involved. And how are we going to get more people involved? So about 3.5 years ago, I saw Dan on Steve Bannon, and I called him. I'm with the Broward Republican Executive Committee. I've been there for 20 years. And when I first got involved, the same thing's happening when I got involved as when they're getting involved now. So when I got involved, it took 3 months before somebody even answered the call. I said, wait a minute, I want to be involved? And they don't even call me back. And then it took 3 months to get an application. So I finally got in after 8 months. Here's a guy that wants to volunteer. And I said, something's wrong with this whole project. So I got involved, and I sat down there for 3 meetings. Not a person came up to see me. And I said to myself, wow, this is the Republican Party. Here I'm a guy that wants to volunteer. Not a person even trained me on what to do. So I went up to the chairman. I said, I'd like to take over as the precinct person to get people involved. And also I'd like to take over your freaking phones because nobody's answering the phones. So when I got to the phones, there was 186 messages. 186 messages on this phone. And I answered them all, and I said, we're very sorry. The found gentleman got sick, and he couldn't answer them. And he said, yeah, I'd like to volunteer. I said, well, come on down. We'll get you involved. So I started getting people involved. We had 120 people in the organization. We had 800 slots open. So we filled 500 slots just because we got people involved, and we said, so what's going on? So this leads me to what's happening today. In many counties in the United States, we got the rhinos, we got the establishment people who are stopping people from coming into the organization. It's happening a lot in Pennsylvania, where people actually had to go to court to get there. They were elected, and the precinct chair wouldn't even let them in. So what I do is I get people involved all over the country. We have precinct strategy sessions. We have training. If anybody wants to get involved, you can go to sstern1054@AOL. Give me an email. You can call me at 954-318-6902. Or you can go to theflagshirt.com. We'll answer all your questions. And what do you do when you become a committee man and committee woman? Well, this is the success of our country. With 200,000 slots filled, we should have 1 million slots filled. We have 400,000 slots available, 200,000 open. So what do? You go to meetings, you get people elected. That is the main job. And how do you get people elected? You go door to door, you call people, you get people to want to run. Look, in the United States, we have a lot of people who are not running who could run. Look at General Flynn. If General Flynn ran for an office, he would be coming in a second. So imagine all the people that we have. So I asked General Flynn for some generals and colonels and stuff, and we're talking to them about running for office. Because who should run for an office but somebody who's in the leadership of our country? Now, I'm on Steve Bannon a lot, John Fredericks, Steve Gruber, all Real America Voice, One American News, asking people to get involved. Now, I visited with President Trump 2 days before the election, and my main goal was to ask him to talk to people at his rallies to get them involved in our precinct strategy. Now, he was in front of 6 secretaries, Liz Harrington, my wife, my grandson. They all heard him say, yes, I will ask people to get involved at our rallies. Well, so far it hasn't happened. And I've called everybody and said, hey, this is very important. If he does it, can you imagine at 50,000 people at our rally, how many who would get involved? So just yesterday, I spoke to one of his assistants. I said, hey, look, we got to do it. So Mike Lindell, He's helped us. He endorsed precinct strategy. By the way, President Trump endorsed precinct strategy. I was at a meeting with him about a year and a half ago. He said if I knew about precinct strategy a year ago, I would have won the election. Well, if he knows how important it is, it's important for the country. So we need people to get involved. Again, go to sstern1054@gmail.com or sstern1054@AOL. You can get involved. And what can you do? Now, we have a lot of success stories around the country, and I want to give you a few of those right now because if you want to get a hold of somebody in the state, I have people in every state in the country. So let's talk about New Jersey. That's a blue state. We have Elizabeth Nader. Elizabeth Nader is a tremendous patriot. She had a big event about a year ago where I attended with 46 speakers, and she went on with a radio guy, and she has a club called Common Sense Club. Common Sense Club gets people involved. So they went from 10 people a year ago to 110,000 people now. So she's a patriot. I get her on a lot of shows. We got a guy in Texas. His name is Robert West. He's got the 5-star plan. Look it up, the 5-star plan. Now, why is he important? He got 1,000 people involved. And why I love him so much, he drove 8 hours to speak to 16 people. That's a patriot. We need people like that to step up in this country. And you know, I'm a one-man show. I'm 82 years old. I started with this thing the last 4 years. I'm on every show. People get me on because I have energy. And people in my age group can see that I have energy. Certainly you can do it. I don't care if you're 80, 90, it doesn't matter. We have something for you to do. A lady just was up at one of the counters here saying, well, you know, I'm 78, I can't knock on doors. Hey, you can make phone calls. You can help us. So how bad it is that I'm in Broward County. I'm the vice president of the Western Republican Club, where we have 360 members. Not 2 people will volunteer to give their time to help. So this is the problem with the Republican Party. I don't blame the Democrats who are at it, I blame the Republicans. I mean, they're letting them get away with it. They mock us. They go out and they pay people to pick up the ballots. The Republicans want people to volunteer. Well, yeah, it's great to volunteer, but we need people to be paid. We need some of these important people to step up with dollars and start to donate for people. So just the last week, I've been on TV with a new PAC that I'm happy to say I'm involved with called Save the Country. Well, that's one, but it's called CleanTheSwampUSA.com. And you can come to that, and we'll give you, let me just pull this for 1 second. So I'm sorry, let me get it corrected. It's DrainTheSwampUSA.com. DrainTheSwampUSA.com. That is a PAC that has just started, and there's a ton of people that are volunteering money to give to all the candidates. If you have a candidate that wants to get elected and you want to get him supported, go to DrainTheSwamp.USA, recommend him, and we will support him. We will vet him. He has to be a MAGA, America First guy. So let's review. If you want to become involved, get to me. We're glad to help you. Again, we have other people that have stepped up. We have a girl in California, Tina Saline. She has got me 150 people in California. As of August 1st, we started a campaign, Let's Get California Red. Now, we know that we got a lot of Republicans in California, but they're all asleep, so we got to wake them up. She's given me 150 people, and you guys are from California, so we have told her to speak to TotalNEWS.com to get together with them and start the ball rolling. There is one county that has got rid of the machines. One of the things that we're working with, I work with Michelle Swinnick, www.savemyfreedom.us. That's savemyfreedom.us. You can get involved in that, and you can join for free, or you can be a paid membership. Michelle is working with me around the clock and getting rid of the machines in Maricopa County, which is one of the best and the most important things.
And speaking of people that are speaking up, Jovan Pulitzer doing great things with you guys. What a rock star he is. Can you talk a little about Jovan, and then we got to wrap it up.
So Jovan Pulitzer and I and Raj from Defend Florida do a Zoom meeting because President Trump asked me to get involved in election integrity. Because when I spoke to him, he knew that the election could be stolen, which he said a lot of times. I'm more interested in how we can stop the fraud. So Jovan Pulitzer is one of our lead people, and I got to tell you how much I love him is that my son asked me to do something for the flag shirt for Flag Day. And when I do something big. So my son couldn't believe what I did. We spent 8 hours on TV Flag Day with 46 of the top speakers of the country. If you'd like to see a part of it, TotalNEWS was involved. General Flynn was involved. He led it off. But Jovan helped us because when we put it on the Mike Lindell Network, they were so busy they couldn't produce it. So Jovan dropped everything he was doing. In 10 days, he did that. So he's excited about that. He also leads the fight on election integrity and getting people off the voter rolls. And that's one of the big things he's doing now. He's working on getting money to spend $3-4 million on getting people off the voter rolls, along with a girl named Linda Sinkowitz, who's already started this in Connecticut, and she's already got 10,000 people off the voter rolls. You know, if we get people off the voter rolls, I'm sitting here in Nevada, where it's the worst place in the world for getting people off the voter rolls. I mean, you've heard all this. There's 100,000 people on it have never been taken off, and Jovan says there's 13 states that have never taken anybody off the voter roll. So I know we got limited time. Thank you for giving me the time. TotalNEWS, Rockstar, helping this country get the news every day. Action, action, action. Steve Stern, theflagshirt.com.
Thank you so much, Steve Stern. Doing great things, of course. PrecinctStrategy.com.